So like I said, welcome again to our Getting Into Research workshop. I'm Wendy Picquinto. I'm the Outreach and Events Coordinator here at the Center for Undergraduate Research and Academic Engagement. If I have met you all before, welcome back. If not, happy to meet you all. And so I'm just going to go over our team a little bit here. We have Latika Young, our director, Alicia Bataille, our senior associate director, who's in charge of Europe and FCAMP. We also have David Montez, our associate director, who oversees IDEA grants and FSU iGEM. We have Warren Oliver, our associate director in charge of global scholars. We also have Ms. Chris Ryan, our undergraduate research support specialist, who assists with Europe. Myself, the outreach and engagement coordinator. Ms. Carrie Wall, our Tyler fellow coordinator. And Osla Kaya, our program specialist, who will be joining us this fall semester, overseeing Europe and FCAMP. Okay, so just to go over our agenda a bit, today we'll be going over kind of a brief overview of what is research, what does it mean to get involved, how can you get involved, first steps to take in your research journey. Sharing research, we'll go over some of our CRE programs here. We'll talk about different campus partners, and then we'll go over our contact information. So to start off our workshop, we really like this quote here. Research is formalized curiosity. It is poking and prying with a purpose. That's by Ms. Zora Neale Hurston. And this is a great way to view research. So what are some examples of research? When you're thinking of research, oftentimes we think of laboratory experiments, collecting data on the field, but research can also be, for example, scholarly work, drawing on archival research in the library. Like I said, it could be field work or interviews taken to explore a social or environmental or political situation. It can also be an artistic work creation, such as a painting, a play, a musical. So there are different types of research. So when you're thinking of research, one of the main things to think about is the benefits of undergraduate research. This is something we really like to emphasize here in our office. Some of the benefits include enhancing critical thinking and independence. This will help sharpen your analytical skills and encourage independent thought. Being involved in research also helps develop your research skills. So it teaches you how to design, conduct, and analyze studies. Undergraduate research also sparks creativity and problem solving, which will help inspire innovative approaches to solving problems. Undergraduate research can also support your career and graduate school goals. For example, if you're preparing to go to graduate school, medical school, law school, you'll definitely gain some of those skills needed for that. Another great benefit of undergraduate research is it builds strong connections and community. So you're able to foster relationships with mentors and peers, and it helps you form a supportive network. So what are some ways to get involved? There are a few ways to get involved with undergraduate research here on campus and then also outside of campus. So there's course-based undergraduate research. That's undergraduate research done through your courses, whether that's in the form of like a research project, a paper. There's research assistantships. You're also able to volunteer in different labs. There's DIS or independent research experiences. There's also towards the end of your career, you're able to complete perhaps an honors in the thesis, capstone, or a senior project. And so here we laid out kind of a potential research flow chart. You won't necessarily follow this exact flow chart. You know, it depends on the student. But this is typically kind of what we see. Students will have that initial undergraduate research experience. This is focused around first year, second year students. So in here, you'll see programs such as Europe, Global Scholars, class projects, like I mentioned, or lab assistantships. Students oftentimes then follow up that that initial experience with a secondary, high impact practice-based experience. This allows students, like I said, to build upon research and helps prepare them for that terminal experience. So oftentimes this could be in the form of Global Scholars, an IDEA grant research project, FGAMP, which is the Florida Georgia Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation, which we'll talk about a little bit further on. And then students will often follow up that secondary experience with their terminal research experience, which helps prepare students for experiences after graduation. So like I said, it helps prepare students for those graduate school plans or medical school, law school plans, or just plans to get into to start your career. And some of these experiences include honors in the major, where you're able to write a thesis. So one of the other parts of conducting research is being able to share your research. We have different opportunities to share your research here on campus, and then outside of campus as well. So these include the campus-wide symposium. So every spring semester, we have our undergraduate research symposium held in the student union. Any undergraduate student is able to submit their research projects for that, and they're able to present their poster presentations. We also have departmental symposiums, so whether that's through engineering or other departments, those are available as well. There's also national or state undergraduate research conferences, including Posters at the Capitol, which is held at the Florida State Capitol here, NCUR, or FERC, the Florida Undergraduate Research Conference, which moves from different institutions. It's hosted by different institutions each year. This upcoming spring semester, it'll be held at the University of South Florida in Tampa. And again, we're able to send students to, for example, FERC, students from all disciplines and completing different research projects are able to share their projects there with other students from all across Florida. There are also professional academic conferences in your field. So these could be, here in Florida or somewhere across the country, and those are focused on your specific field that you're researching. There's also on-campus undergraduate research journals and library repository. One of those being the OWL, which is hosted by SCIRC. I'll go over some of that information towards the end of the presentation, but they're peer-reviewed academic journals. They're also open source journals. So it's very important once you're completing this research to be able to then share that research with the wider community. So going back, first steps to kind of engaging in research, you want to reflect on your interests. So we're going to reflect and ask ourselves these questions. For example, which class project do I wish I could take further? Is there, a research paper that you wrote that you found really interesting that you want to explore in more depth? That could definitely be the basis for like an independent project. Another question you can ask yourself is, what skills and techniques do I want to learn? So for example, what research skills or hands-on experiences do I want to have that are going to benefit me, whether that's in graduate school or once I'm, seeking employment? What skills or techniques do I think will benefit me? What are my big questions about the world? So what do I really want to explore? This doesn't necessarily need to be within your field. You could conduct research in another field you find interesting. We really want these research experiences to kind of make you grow as a person and, really give you a big picture look at the world. Another question you can ask yourself is, what interdisciplinary connections interest me? So again, what other, connections do I want to make? to make me a more well-rounded student. So how can you get involved in undergraduate research? If we're thinking of getting involved outside of, a specific program, we first want to identify potential faculty. So this means going into your department's faculty and staff page. Oftentimes they'll have biographies, they'll include links to their labs or links to their CVs. So it's important to go through and read through what faculty and post-grad and graduate students are working on. That way we're able to see if we have similar interests where we can connect with them. The second step is reaching out to faculty with a resume or a CV. Oftentimes we also say to reach out with an unofficial transcript. And then thirdly is actually meeting and discussing expectations with that potential faculty member. And then lastly, you'll have to set a schedule and then get started. So I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail here. Like I said, identifying potential faculty. We recommend students go through the department's website, check out bios, CVs, and recent publications of faculty in your department of interest. It's important to look up abstracts from their work. You can do that through the library website. And then just kind of getting an idea of what they're interested in. So you can choose up to 10 faculty. Really make sure that you're dedicating time to reading through those abstracts so that when you are able to meet with that faculty member, that you demonstrate that you've done kind of that background research and that you are genuinely interested in working with them. And then, like I said, then you would have to reach out to them via email with your resume or CV and a copy of your transcript. And I often suggest students also include some sort of cover letter where you discuss, what you've read about them, how those interests align with your interests, and then also selling yourself, talking about some of your strengths or what skills you already bring, and also what skills you're hoping to learn. Is very important. But like I said, you really want to make sure that you express that you've done that background research so that they're able to see, your dedication to that work. So this is just kind of reiterating some of the stuff I already said. Email a faculty member or attend office hours, expressing interest in their research. Interview and discussion. So you want to clarify what those expectations are when you do start working with them. You want to see, what's the time commitment look like? What does the research itself look like, whether that's literature review or, being hands-on in the field. Also take into consideration your class workload to make sure that you have, a balanced schedule and you're able to actually dedicate that time. And then mentoring philosophy, will it be a good match as far as, how they see themselves as a mentor, and then you as a student. So other ways to get involved in undergraduate research, there's Honors in the Major. This is a program conducted through the Honors Office. It's open to all students, so all students are able to complete the Honors in the Major and graduate with that honors distinction. It's mainly for upper level students. Again, it's your own research project. So in that first step, when you're kind of reflecting on, what your interests are, what ideas you want to dive further into, this is kind of a way to get that research experience that way. It does require a minimum of 2 semesters of research. So just keep that in mind. You must complete a prospectus and defend a thesis. There's more information on the honors website. And then that's there's the Honors in the Major email that you can email to get more information. So that's hitm@fsu.edu. The contact person there is Dr. Michael David Franklin. So like I said, the Honors Office will be able to give more information about that as well. And then there's also directed individual study, or DIS. This goes through your own department. You need a faculty or staff member and a culminating experience. So that's another way to kind of complete your own individual research project. Okay, and so lastly, I'm going to go over some of our CRE programs. These are programs that we host here at the Center for Undergraduate Research and Academic Engagement. Before I do that, our office does also offer research advising. Like I mentioned before, we do have some research funding opportunities, as well as conference presentation funding. And we use those high impact practices. So like I said, we do offer research advising. So if you want more information on different funding opportunities, feel free to set up an appointment with us. We have drop-in advising. And then on our website, we also have our different meeting times for each of our team members here. But just to go over some of the programs we have the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, or UROP. Again, that is overseen by Alicia Bataille and Chris Ryan. We also have FGAM, the Florida Georgia Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation in STEM. And the contact information or contact members for that are Asla Kaya and Alicia Bataille. Then we have our Global Scholars Program, and the contact person for that is Warren Oliver. We have iGEM at FSU, and the contact person is Dave Montez. And then lastly, we have Idea Grants and Tyler Fellows, and those are, the contact people for that are Dave Montez and Carrie Wall. So we'll have all that information again at the end. So to start off, the Florida Georgia Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation in STEM, or FGAM, is a program funded by the National Science Foundation. It's a way for students to join a community of STEM students and graduate students. Students will get to work with a graduate student mentor and engage in activities that will help find academic opportunities. Students will be able to participate in STEM events throughout the year, one of which includes the Tallahassee Science Fair. We also have the opportunity to receive a stipend upon the completion of program milestones. The deadline to apply is Friday, September 6th, so that is coming up. Again, the contact person is Alicia Bataille. If you scan this QR code here, you'll be able to access the application. We also have a link to the application on our website. And again, the program's mission is to increase the number of STEM bachelor's and graduate degrees awarded to historically underrepresented populations within STEM. So definitely encourage you to apply. It's a great way to connect with that community and engage with other students also within STEM from similar backgrounds. Next, we have our Global Scholars program. This program introduces students to qualitative, community-based research and provides a space for reflecting on larger questions about power, privilege, inequality, and diversity. And so Global Scholars is a year-long program. You start in the spring by taking the theory course, where again, you'll go over some of those qualitative, community-based research skills. Once you've done that, during that course as well, you'll decide on a summer research or summer experience. And this could be an internship, a professional development. You could study abroad. Like I said, it could be international, domestic, remote. It could be something where you're working with children, public health, environmental, social, or entrepreneurial programs. So again, there's a wide range of summer experiences that you can take as a Global Scholar. And so students will decide on a summer experience in that spring course. Then over the summer, they'll conduct their experience, and they'll produce kind of like some blogs, just talking about the experience, you know, what they're learning. And then in the fall semester, students will come back and take a reflection course where they will reflect on their summer experience and work on their capstone project. So then once they've you know, completed their project, they're able to present at the Global Scholar Showcase at the end of the fall in December. And that sort of completes that that year-long program. Some students do go on, like I mentioned previously, and expand on their Global Scholars project. So that's definitely a possibility there. Again, our contact person for this is Warren Oliver, and we will be hosting information sessions here in HSF 3008. We have the dates listed on there as well. The application is currently open, and we do have a copy of it, so you can look over the questions before you actually apply. If you scan that QR code, it'll lead you over to the website where you're able to see a copy of the application, and then it'll actually link you to the application as well. And so that's a bit about Global Scholars. Like I said, we'll have our first information session coming up September 30th at 1 p.m. Next, I want to talk about iGEM at FSU. So iGEM stands for the International Genetically Engineered Machine at FSU. And this program provides students from all majors. It provides them a research experience focused on innovation and team-based science and engineering. So students are able to choose a Florida-based program to address. They're able to conduct qualitative research. They're able to study bioengineering pathways for tackling the problem. And they also work on educating FSU and the Tallahassee community about bioengineering. They conduct lab testing and biological intervention. And then students are actually able to present at the iGEM Grand Jamboree in Paris, France. So we're able to send the team over to France to compete with teams from all across the world at that iGEM Jamboree. So if you look at this picture here, this is the 2023 team in front of the Eiffel Tower, and then actually at the Grand Jamboree. So if you're interested in joining iGEM, like I said, it's open to all majors. It's an interdisciplinary team. The workshops are going to be held every Friday at 2 p.m. in the pitch room at the Innovation Hub. The Innovation Hub is also just a great place to meet other people, you know, working on different projects as well. So I definitely recommend you check out the Innovation Hub. And then if you are interested, like I said, those workshops are held every Friday at 2 p.m. And the contact person for FSU iGEM, if you do have any questions, is going to be Dave Montez. And we'll put up his email again later on. And then just to talk about idea grants. So idea grants tends to be more of like a project you work on later on in your undergraduate career. But it's funding that's available. It's up to $4,000 for individuals or $6,000 for groups. And it's to fund, like I said, that self-designed work on a topic, project, problem, artistic product, or entrepreneurial idea. And projects must last between 8 to 12 weeks and be supervised by a faculty member. The application deadline is February 1st, and we will be hosting info sessions throughout the fall semester. The first one coming up is going to be October 2nd at 2 p.m. And we encourage students that are interested in idea grants to attend the 2024 President's Showcase of Undergraduate Research Excellence, which will be held on October 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 in the Student Union ballrooms. If you want to learn more about idea grant funded research projects, if you're also just interested on the type of research that's being conducted here at FSU, this is a great way to see the diversity of research projects that we have going on. So I definitely encourage you to attend. Be sure to scan that code if you want to RSVP. Currently we have 35 IDEA grant funded projects. And the contact person for IDEA grants will be Dave Montez, so it's dmontez@fsu.edu if you want more information about IDEA grants. And then the Tyler Center for Global Studies Research Award. This is a donor-supported IDEA grant, so it falls again under that umbrella of IDEA grants for projects taking place outside of the U.S. And you can design and carry out your original research or creative project, again, under the mentorship of a faculty supervisor. Like IDEA grants, it's, again, that 8 to 12 weeks during the summer. And then you're able to join a network of Tyler Fellows around the country. Why apply? So if you're interested in traveling internationally, if you want to receive funding for your research, if you want to advance your research goals, create mentorship opportunities with faculty, we definitely encourage you to apply. Like we said, all the IDEA grants are able to present at the President's Showcase of Undergraduate Research Excellence. And the Tyler Fellows will also be able to present at the Tyler Virtual Summit. And again, this award can coincide with other projects such as Honors in the Major or Gilman Awards. And so sometimes IDEA grant recipients are funding their Honors in the Major projects. So again, those are two programs that can overlap as well. So next steps, if you are interested in being a Tyler Fellow, feel free to contact Carrie Wall. Her email is right there on the slide, or attend an info session to learn more. Again, you want to start thinking about what type of study you want to design, and start, coming up with a list of potential faculty advisors. You will want to create a personal statement, research proposal, and research budget. Again, either Dave or Carrie can meet with you to discuss the different materials that you'll need when completing your IDEA grant application. And then lastly, you'll submit your IDEA grant application in February or by February of 2025. Again, those info sessions for the Tyler Center for Global Studies, the first one coming up is September 17th at 11 a.m. If you scan that QR code, it'll lead you over to the website that'll have more information there as well. And you can also connect with the Tyler Center on Instagram or LinkedIn, just to get kind of an idea of the projects that the current Tyler Fellows are working on, as well as you're able to see what past Tyler Fellows have completed. So those blogs are also available on their website and Instagram as well. And campus partners. So we have a few campus partners we want to talk about. They work very closely with us in helping provide students with different opportunities. One in particular, the Office of National Fellowships. It's located here in the Honors Scholars and Fellows House on the 3rd floor. They're actually down the hall from us. And they help students to pursue opportunities for enrichment by providing support throughout the fellowship application process. So like we mentioned before, the Gilman Scholarship is one of those fellowships that they help students apply for. And so that particular one is for Pell Grant recipients, but they have other fellowship opportunities for STEM majors, for students looking to go into the public sector, or working with the US government. So I definitely encourage you to set up an appointment with them early on, because then they're able to dive into, what you're interested in, point you to fellowship opportunities, and then kind of help you navigate those deadlines, as well as helping you with essay writing. So they're a great resource here on campus. We also have the Career Center. And so when you're reaching out to potential faculty members with your resume or your CV, we recommend setting up an appointment with the Career Center. They do online appointments or in-person appointments where they will go through your resume line by line to help you identify different changes you can make to make your resume stand out. They'll help you come up with, the right keywords that, potential faculty members are looking for. They can also help you with setting up like an interview. So if you're nervous about interviewing, they can do mock interviews with you as well. So they're, again, another great resource, especially also if you're thinking of applying to any internships over the summer, anything like that, they can definitely help you with that as well. And then we have FSU libraries. You can find a subject librarian or a specialist who can help you connect with resources and support you with anything like your classes, research, or teaching. Like I said, if you're wanting to dive into another topic, they do have those subject librarians that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
As well.
Really? You don't have to. Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to talk about SCURC. That's the Student Council for Undergraduate Research and Creativity. They're dedicated to making research accessible and approachable to all undergraduate students at FSU. This includes providing advising on how to begin your research journey. And they also have travel grants to attend research conferences. You can follow them on Facebook, X, Instagram to keep in touch, or contact them via their email with any questions. They are currently recruiting for the upcoming school year. So if you scan that QR code there, you're able to access that Qualtrics form to express your interest in joining SCURC. And then lastly, these are different ways you can connect with our office. We do have a link tree, so we have all of our social media accounts listed on there as well as different applications that are coming up. So FGAMP, Global Scholars. We also have some of those Global Scholars Idea Grant blog posts, so you can read through and see the different research projects that the students have been conducting this summer. But now I will open up the chat for any questions. If you want me to go into detail about anything I mentioned before, we can start taking questions. And again, if you would like to sign up for our newsletter, we do a bi-monthly newsletter where we release different deadlines, upcoming workshop dates, info session dates. So that way you're able to keep up to date with what's going on in our office. So our first question, if I am in Europe this fall, should I reach out to faculty as of now? So if you were accepted into Europe, you will get more information on the Europe research portal. So then you'll be able to pick out from that portal of project proposals, which project you would like to work on. Is it possible to be involved in multiple areas of FSU CRE? For example, yes. So a lot of our students go through and either do Europe and then Global Scholars, or we'll do Global Scholars and then an idea grant. We've also had an FGAMP student right now is completing an idea grant. So it's definitely, you can be involved in pretty much all of our CRE programs. You don't necessarily need to be limited to just one. And let me see, they said, if I'm not doing research this term, am I still able to attend conferences? I believe there is funding for attending conferences as opposed to presenting at them. If you want to set up an appointment with us, then we can go into further detail about those opportunities as well. And then for the work study question, I would reach out to the UROP email, they'll be able to give you more information on work study. Let me see. One second. So the UROP email, if you have any UROP questions, for example, the work study is going to be in the chat. I'm putting it in there right now. Okay. And then what other research programs contribute credit hours like UROP? So I believe with Global Scholars, that also counts as like that one credit class. I would have to double check. And then honors in the major, I believe you also sign up for that way. When do Europe applications typically open? They typically open in the spring.
Well, I never got my thing. You know, Abby got his, and I didn't get mine.
Okay, so Europe applications typically open in the spring, and then they close. Normally it's been May 1st. For this last semester, because of all the because they extended the acceptance deadline, it did get shipped over to June 1st, but typically look out for that May 1st deadline. That's what it's been in the past. When is it a good time to start emailing faculty about research assistantships? Definitely as early as possible. We recommend students, it might be difficult to get a reply right now that we're between sessions, but definitely within those first few weeks of the semester, definitely reach out. Now would actually be a good time to start doing some of that background research and reading about different potential faculty members that you would want to work on or work with. But yeah, definitely reaching out as early as possible. If they don't have an opening in their lab, they might be able to point you in a different direction. Another important thing that I wanted to talk about too is you don't necessarily, if you really want to get involved in research and aren't having any luck within your own department, for example, you can always reach out to another department. That way you're able to get that research experience because you're still able to gain some of those research skills, even if it's not necessarily working within your field. And then how much experience do you need? You know, you can just, we have a lot of students that start off within their first year doing research. So definitely don't feel like you need to come, you know, you need to show up with all this experience already. Students or mentors understand that you being an undergraduate researcher, you're going to have, you know, maybe less skills than, for example, like a graduate research student. So definitely don't feel discouraged if you haven't completed any research in the past. The main thing you want to convey to these potential faculty member or mentors is how like dedicated you are and how like genuinely interested you are in working with them. And then can you set up an appointment to go over cover letters? Yes, you can set up an appointment with either our office. Like I said, I have drop-in advising hours, or definitely with the Career Center. They will, like I said, go through line by line with you. Like I said, they'll have more of that information on what you know, types of words or what kind of resumes or cover letters faculty members are looking for. Is iGEM open to everyone, or is there an application to participate? So the like I said, it's an interdisciplinary team. It is open to all majors. Once you start attending the info sessions, the team kind of comes together naturally, just depending on, like, you know, if you really are dedicated to the team, then you can be a part of it that way. So there's not necessarily an application, and Dave, you can jump in if this is incorrect about iGEM.
Yeah, I can preface it. For the first few weeks of the fall semester, they'll basically intro session style. And then following sort of that period of just getting the word out about the program, we'll get into what we call idea workshops. This is where part of the vetting process is what you bring to the table in terms of generating ideas of different problems that we want to tackle using bioengineering. It's a process of like me observing as well as interacting with you. We will also do sort of an informal interview with myself and my co-PI, Dr. Cesar Rodriguez, who's in the College of Medicine. And then finally, we do have a Qualtrics that you will fill out. And it's mainly centered around how you want to grow through the program, because the iGEM competition has a wide variety of deliverables, not just like lab results. We have lots of opportunities for students from all varieties of majors. We've had everybody from, at this point, we've had over 3 dozen majors represented on the team. So we've had people, everyone from the film school to anthropology to computer science to, bioengineering. So I encourage you to stop by one of the first few weeks, or just to reach out to me via email and I can give you more information.
Awesome, thank you. And then again, those workshops start.
I'm going to start them Friday, September 6th. So FSU iGEM as well as SCIRC will be at the Fall Involvement Fair. That'll be the first week of classes, and that'll be sort of your first chance to interact with some of these various offices at the beginning of the fall semester. But the week after that, I will start the info sessions.
Great. So if you have already approached a professor that's willing to work with you, again, you want to just solidify and have that discussion about expectations, workload, hours that you'll be able to, actually work on that project. So definitely getting that, in writing through an email, just making sure that the expectations, that everyone's aware of the expectations, that both parties are aware. And then, you can definitely contact your class professors. Like I said, just make sure that you're doing some background research beforehand, just so that, if they do ask you questions about, oh, well, why are you interested in working with my, in my lab, that you have that information to back it up. But you can definitely reach out to class professors. So for Europe, we do already have, we put out a call for proposals to faculty members and staff members here on campus. So unfortunately, those will already be pre-selected. So no, you aren't able to suggest a project. But if you do have a project in mind, like I said, definitely look into idea grants, honors in the major, DIS, to kind of, if you want to look further into that project. And then does participation in research programs add into my credit hours? So these oftentimes are just are meant to be like enriching programs outside of the classroom. So it's a way for you, for example, to be a more well-rounded student. Although there is, for example, honors in the major, you do have to apply for it as it's listed as like a course on your transcript. Same with Europe and Global Scholars, those will be listed on your transcript. But as far as like if you're doing research with a faculty member, that isn't necessarily going to reflect on your transcript. And then Dave answered that question there. So you can't necessarily be so once you're in Europe, for example, and you're able to see the Europe project portal, you'll then be able to select which projects you are interested in, and then from there you will generally interview with a faculty member just to see if it's a good match or not. So, you know, if you want to select, for example, you said you found a faculty member or talked to a faculty member, just be sure to select that project. But like I said, there is still that kind of interview part, so we can't necessarily say that you'll be guaranteed a spot within that lab or that project. But do we have any other questions I can answer for you?
You did answer Audrey Milligan's, right? From 215.
Yes, yeah.
She's over there. Sorry. Cool.
And so, like I said, if you click through on our link tree, we have the FGAMP application. Or you can look at our Global Scholars blog series, our Tyler Fellows, Idea Grant blogs, just to kind of get more of an idea of what students are working on. We have more information about Europe, Global Scholars, Idea Grants, as well as all of our links to our social media. So, yes, so if you miss the deadline for first year students or incoming students, you're still able to apply for your second year. And so, but once you've passed that that deadline for applying as a second year, you won't be able to apply again. So UROP is only open to incoming students, or rising second year students, or some transfer students. But like I said, if you are an incoming student now and you miss that deadline, you do still have that opportunity to apply for your second year. Any other questions for me?
I just had a couple. If I didn't make it to Europe, what would that have any effect on my application to any other UR programs?
Nope. So yeah, if you didn't get accepted into Europe, that doesn't mean you won't you know, be a good candidate for any of our other programs. You know, Europe is a very competitive program, so don't feel discouraged if you didn't apply to Europe, or if you didn't get accepted to Europe. You're still able to, for example, apply to Global Scholars. That application is open now, and you would be able to start Global Scholars in the spring, and then continue on with that program. But good question. 208. Bastion.
So I think, what was it?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Sebastian, if you found a professor that's willing to work with you, like I said, if you were wanting to solidify that research position, just make sure you meet with them and discuss, you know, your availability, how much time you're going to be able to dedicate to that project, what the mentor's expectations are. I would suggest getting that, you know, in writing through an email, just so that everybody's, you know, on board with what the expectations are for that project or that position. And then also ask about, I know some research labs require you to fill out like a Qualtrics or an application, so just double check with that mentor professor to make sure you're completing the right steps for getting that position.
And then Israel, are assistantships semester or year long?
Yeah, so it really just depends on the research mentor. Some students complete, you know, typically I would say they're year long, but some do complete these assistantships over you know, 2 or 3 years. So it just depends, you know, on that project, but good question.
Yeah, Europe is explicitly fall and spring. All others that are outside of a structured program, it's between your relationship with you and your faculty mentor. We've had students that start off in Europe their first year, and then for the rest of their time at FSU stay with them, and others that diversify their experiences. It's all about just transparency between, between the two of you, so to speak.
But yeah, any other questions? And yeah, like Dave said, our two programs, Idea Grants Global Scholars in Europe, are gonna be that year-long, dedication, and then Idea Grants, you'll have to have that summer, research experience or research project, and then in the fall, you'll come back and, present at the, President Showcase. Do we have any other questions? Like I said, I'm gonna toss my email in the chat in case anybody wants to follow up with a question. I also do drop-in advising for this intersession. I'll do drop-in advising Tuesdays 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then Wednesdays 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And then if you go to our getting started link here. We'll have our different descriptions for the programs that we discussed. My drop-in hours are available here, and you can access them by clicking the advising link here as well. If you email me, I can also set up another time where we can talk about different CRE programs or different ways to get involved in research. And then if you want to drop by the office as well, I'm available Wednesdays 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. To talk about that as well. And then if you want kind of more information about any of our programs, you can just go through this accordion list here. We have a web page for every program that we have here at the CRE. But any other questions for me? But yeah, thank you all for taking the time out of your summer afternoon to attend this workshop. If you know anybody else that's interested in getting involved in research, we do have we have two more information sessions or workshops coming up, September 3rd and October 15th. So please feel free to share with any of your friends. And again, feel free to reach out to us. We're really excited to work with you all and get you started on your research journey. And I'll just stay on here for the next 5 minutes if anybody has any last minute questions. Which your undergraduate research program should I participate in to strengthen my med school application? So we've had med students come through pretty much all of our programs. One that comes to mind, we just had a student, she was a global scholar a few years back that was accepted into medical school. It's not necessarily like which one would be best, but how you can complete these programs and use them and those skills that you acquired from participating in those programs to better, like sell yourself. So I wouldn't say there's necessarily one program versus another. Definitely get involved as much as you can. That'll definitely, help you again with your, applications. And when you're applying, just to see, just to show, you know, that you have that interest in research.
Do you mind if I yes and you, Wendy?
What was that?
It also depends on what ways you're interested in med school. If you're someone who is interested in, you know, pediatrics versus someone who is interested in surgery, you know, all those things are very, very can be highly specialized. So that in of itself could play a role into what kind of experiences you want to have to learn and grow as an individual, as a candidate for med school. So for instance, the link I just threw in the chat was for the Global Health Collaboration Project. That's a combination of collaboration between FSU, FAMU, the country of Honduras, where they focus in on community health and specifically also like rural health. You know, that's something that is the bread and butter very much of like FSU's med school, which is community and preventative medicine and things like that nature. So like what are you interested in as a physician potentially can help mold that. Because this is a huge R1 institution. You can find research being about just about anything. So yeah, be open as well.
Is it too early to be contacting faculty members as an incoming freshman? Should we wait until we complete more higher level courses? I would say it's never too early to start reaching out. Like I said, you also want to, this is gonna be a learning opportunity for you, so, faculty mentors are gonna, you know, have that in mind that, like I said, you're not gonna come with the skills of, for example, a graduate student or a postdoc. So I would say it's not too early. Just make sure you're doing that background research about the faculty member, just to make sure that you are that you know the type of stuff that they're working on, and so that they can see, oh, you know, this student is really motivated and, you know, would make a good person to add to our team. Definitely it's better to start off early as opposed to, for example, senior year, I would say. But good question. Any other last minute questions before we sign off? Again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your summer to attend our workshop. All right. Well, thank you all again for attending. We'll follow up with an email, again, including our link to the slides. And we'll be posting a recording online as well. But hope you all have a great rest of your summer. And we'll see you all this upcoming fall.